Dana White pays the fighters exactly what they deserve. I'm tired of this false narrative about fighter pay. First and foremost, can we stop playing the world's smallest violin for athletes, for people who get to live their lives chasing a dream, a passion? They're not clocking in and out. They're it's it's what they want to do, right? Like, nobody's forcing you to pick up a basketball, bro. Nobody's forcing you to put on gloves. Nobody's forcing you to do that. You elect to chase legacy, to be one of the greatest of all time, famous, millionaire, all these things. That lifestyle. So that's on you, bro. Not everybody gets to be Conor McGregor. Not everybody gets to earn the big, big money. Some people gotta earn 5 and 5. Straight up, man. And, this idea that the UFC needs to be a certain amount, when the truth is the UFC is so oversaturated and watered down compared to what it used to be. I started watching the sport in 2009. Uh, you know, Compared to what it used to be, it is way oversaturated. We have events every weekend. We have I think there's like 500, 600 fighters on the roster, guys. Insane numbers, okay? Um, it's just a watered down product. And at the very top of it, it's still great. Like Dricus du Plessis versus Hamzat Shemaev. I can't wait for that fight. It's going to be a great fight. Islam Makhachev, Jack Della Maddalena. I can't wait for that. You know what I mean? But some of these other cards are lackluster, to say the least. And I gotta fucking sit there every weekend and act as though I'm watching the peak MMA. Like, no, bro. If you missed it, you missed it. But peak MMA was 2000s and 2010 to, like, I would say, I would pre-Connor. Pre-Connor, because Connor came, changed everything, and now it's more of a circus show, and it's less about who the actual best in the world is, and it's about how many Instagram followers you have, and just, how did your Nelk Boys interview do? You know what I mean? That's what it's about now, as opposed to actually being the best in the world. Because you could be a guy like Magomed Ankalaev, right? The actual best guy in light heavyweight. But the UFC could say, nah, we got Alex Pereira with the left hook and the hey, and all that stuff. Let him keep doing his thing, and let's ignore Ankalaev. Let's make him the elephant in the room. Well, when the elephant in the room keeps winning, and, the other guys are losing, you got to give him a shot eventually. And then, of course, we saw what happened. I say that to say the UFC can suppress the real best in the world. The UFC does not have to give an opportunity to the true best in the world. They could give it to, the guy who is the best at selling tickets, the guy that's selling pay-per-views, the guy at making viral clips. Let's promote that instead. We promote the brand, we get more money. Everything's about money now, right? The bottom line. And a guy like Magomed Ankalaev and his style it's not must-see. It's not a must-see style. I'll put it like that. Merab Dvalishvili, too. He's another guy who, to the casual marketplace, which is the people who are bringing in the big bucks, right? That's who they're appealing to. They're not trying to see that. They're just not. They'd rather see Sean O'Malley dribble a basketball and throw a punch and drop a guy than Merab hugging the back of someone, kneeing them in the thigh, thoroughly controlling them up against the fence and, all this stuff. But it's not appealing to the masses. So, the fighters earn what they deserve. They get paid what they bring to the table. You cannot tell me that just making it in the UFC now, you deserve $70,000 to show. What the fuck? Bro, first of all, the fighters would stop fighting if they were making that much money. If they, maybe not that much money, you know, I'm just rambling here off the top. Maybe not that much money, but when you pay them more, they fight less. That's a fact. The whole reason, like, fighting is a gladiator sport. Gladiators were slaves fighting for their freedom. You know, criminals fighting for their freedom as well. Like, that's what gladiators are. This is a gladiator sport. It's a poor man's sport. It's a sport where, sure, a guy like Arman Sarukian can grow up and be trained and everything like that, but there's always going to be something that Arman misses that a guy like Dustin Poirier, you know what I mean, got deep in his soul. You know what I mean? There's going to be a difference there. So it's a poor man's sport. You got to keep the fighters poor. I'm sorry, bro, but that's what it is. If you're running a business, you gotta pay them enough to where they're still hungry and they still want to come back. You can't pay a guy $132 million the way they paid Alexander Usyk and expect to have a sustainable business. Because what happens in Usyk's next fight? How much is he going to make? What if Usyk says, I won't fight again for less than $150 million? He can do that, right? If he wanted to. And if you're running a business, if you're not just doing one-offs because you have unlimited money like the guy in Saudi is, Sheikh Turkey, if you're Dana White, who's running a business of the UFC, can't go out of business, right? Can't be in the red, can't operate at a loss. You cannot overpay these people. You can't do it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, whether you agree or disagree. It does not matter. Just join the discussion. Follow for more and leave a like if you enjoyed the time spent. Thank you. You are all appreciated.